Welcome everyone to the Goblins live show featuring myself and the wifey and the little pug. Hello pug, welcome to the show. In today's video we are going to discuss how affordable motorcycles are in the current climate with costs and what have you, cost of living going up. So you ready, wifey?
I'm ready.
Let's roll the intro. Next door's dog is trying to have a loud conversation with our dog, so he's getting a bit anxious. Aren't you, bud? Hey, poor little thing. Anyway, how are we doing, wifey?
Yes.
Have we been up to anything interesting this week?
It's not about interesting. But it's been a long week, hasn't it?
Oh, I don't know. I mean, it's been a long week, but been up to some good stuff. Been out on rides together with Instagram and what have you.
So we went out on...
He's got a loud little bark, hasn't he, for a little dog? Haven't you?
Pug, I'm trying to talk. Please. Okay.
Go on, let's let him outside. There you go. You can be loud outside. There you go.
So yeah, we went over to Bristol, didn't we?
Yeah, we had a very nice lunch in Bristol, which was a nice little ride. But yeah, we did our first ever dual moto vlog together. Now that we've got the equipment that we need, so we've got the 2 GoPros, we're able to go out and do a vlog together. It's pretty cool.
Coming soon to a screen near you.
Yeah, I'm not sure when the release will be, but it'll probably be next week, I imagine.
Yeah, and then we went out yesterday, didn't we, as well?
Yeah, we did. Yeah, we're taking lots of nice pictures for Instagram.
Yeah, that was almost a challenging ride though, because the road we went on, it was a hill, and then you got there and it was a vertical road, wasn't it? It was ridiculous, and trying to figure out what I need to do was a bit. What have you?
But I mean, to be fair, you're learning very, very quickly, which is it's all really positive. So the struggles that you used to have, you don't seem to have as much anymore.
No.
So it's
I mean, there's still things that I sometimes do, like put my kickstand down when my bike is in gear, and then my bike cuts out. And you go, what have you done? And I'm like, nothing. Because it happens to me nearly every ride we go on.
Just got to make sure you put it in neutral. That's what you've got to remember.
And I almost came off yesterday when we went over some gravel and my foot slipped.
Yeah, but to be fair, that gravel was bad though.
Was smooth.
Every biker knows that gravel is bad, but the gravel that we were using it to turn around in, and the stones were really smooth. So trying to get grip with your shoes to move your bike back and forth just wasn't there.
Wasn't very easy, was it?
But yeah, I mean, these are all things that you learn over time and learn to navigate. But
that's it.
But yeah. So that video is coming soon, and if you guys follow us on Instagram, then you'll notice that there's been quite a lot of activity on the Instagram page recently, and we intend to release new images every single day apart from Saturday, so Monday to Friday and Sunday,
around the time that our vlog comes out. We're also going to show actually what we ate as well, aren't we? We took some pretty neat photos of that, so sounds weird. It's the Instagram thing to do.
We'll be posting that on Instagram as well when closer to the time when we know when that video is going to be released. But it probably be next week. It may be the week after, but hopefully next week. So I've had a pretty miserable week, haven't I?
Yeah.
So not last week, the week before, I fried my hand, didn't I?
Yeah.
And then this week now, I've been getting really severe toothache in the back of my mouth. Went to the dentist yesterday. It was yesterday.
It was
wasn't
yesterday, yeah.
Yesterday, and they concluded that I have to have a tooth pulled out because it's rotten, completely rotten, and another tooth. I think they said they were going to try putting a crown on it, see if that works, and if not, they might have to do a root canal, which is very expensive stuff, unfortunately. But
yeah, don't envy you there.
But yeah, so yeah, I've been in pain for the last week or so. Well, yeah, but about the last, I've been kind of taking as many painkillers as I can get just to bide my time, I suppose. But you know, you win some, you lose some.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Apart from that and our little visitor, we've had nothing else, have we?
Yeah, we had a little mouse in the house this week, which we managed to catch and release back into the wild, which was pretty cool.
It was about that big.
Oh, it was smaller than that.
Hold on.
It was much
I
smaller
can't figure
than
out how
that.
to do this like that.
It was smaller than
its tail. Its tail was really long.
Oh yeah, I know, but the actual mass was about this big. Yeah, you said it yourself. It was smaller than a gerbil.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And I was shocked at how small it was.
I just happened to look down the hallway and I saw this thing.
Just move, yeah.
And I actually saw it and it stopped at the bottom of the stairs. And then it ran in and I was like, what the heck was that? And then I texted you, didn't I? And said, there's a mouse in the house. Like, what do I do?
Yeah.
And then it ran back into the living room. I've got the dog. I scream. The dog jumps. He's not seen it at this point. He's daft, that dog, isn't he, really? And
no, he's not daft. He's not daft.
But you thought I'd made the whole thing up.
Well, I didn't know if you were pulling my leg.
Not the sort of thing I would joke about. But yeah, eventually I just happened to look down the hallway again and it was there and we managed to trap it, didn't we?
Yeah, we managed to get it.
But my gosh, that thing can jump.
Yeah, they're really fast little things. We don't know what mouse it was. We suspect it was a field mouse or a wood mouse. So normally they tend to live around fields and woodlands. So it might have just wandered in our house.
The only thing I can think is that maybe it was living under a neighbour's shed or something and it got spooked and our back door was open and it just happened to come in.
Yeah, maybe. We haven't seen any more mice since, so we're keeping an eye on that.
Yeah.
So
it's been an eventful week.
Yeah, there's been a lot of stuff going on this week.
Yeah.
Some good, some bad, but...
Hey, we're here and we're here to chat.
Yeah.
So it's not all that bad. We got you guys, so it's all good.
Yeah, that's it. All right then, wifey. So let's see if we can answer a difficult question that a lot of people are finding themselves with at the moment is... One, if they own a motorcycle, whether or not they can afford to keep running it, or if they would like to own a motorcycle, but they can't afford to run one. Especially at the moment with all the fuel prices going up, they've shot up at a ridiculous rate in the UK, where we're paying another 50% more for our fuel, for our petrol, than we were just like a month ago. So yeah, petrol prices, fuel prices have gone up substantially recently, and it's got to the point where a lot of working people have got to make the horrible choice of putting fuel in their car or powering up their house for electricity, because
feeding their children.
Yeah, all energy prices for everything are going up at the moment. Energy, food, fuel, just cost of living in general is all going through the roof. And so we thought it was a good opportunity to discuss budgets and kind of be honest with ourselves about how much it costs to run motorcycles, because they're not cheap.
No, when you factor everything in, it's not just the bike, is it? It's the bike, the tax, the insurance, and then all your equipment and your gear on top of that. They're all costs you have to consider.
Yeah, and something like fuel doesn't seem to be, the kind of issue that you think about to begin with. But then when you actually start using the bike and when you actually start putting fuel in it, and then all of a sudden all the costs of fuel are going up, then it becomes a much harder pill to swallow.
Especially when you think, oh, okay, so it's a nice day. I'm going to take the bike out. It's only, say, £12 to fill up the tank, take the bike out, and then...
Well, that's your bike.
That's my bike.
Your bike costs £12 to fill up.
So for argument's sake, my 125 take costs £12, yeah. But, you take the bike and then you're filling up more often because you're taking the bike more often. So actually, is it more cost effective doing that, or just going?
Well, it's not. I mean, that's the issue. Is a lot of people having to make the choice of having either a car or motorcycle rather than being able to afford both.
Yeah.
And if we're being perfectly honest with ourselves, no one needs a motorcycle. No one needs a motorcycle.
No.
Most people will need a car.
Yes.
They absolutely will need a car. So the cost of running a car is going to be the priority.
Well, yeah, the errands you can do on a motorcycle you can do in a car, but that doesn't translate backwards.
Well, no. I mean, cars are... Well, I've said this before. It's obvious cars are just practical. They're practical machines. They're not something that you need to enjoy using. It's something you need to use for modern everyday life. Going to the shops, picking up food for your whole family for the month, or weekly shops, or whatever you do. Even if it's just a weekly shop, you won't be able to stick it on a motorcycle unless you've got a pretty big tourer, and even then you're still going to struggle. I don't know if the camera caught that then, but he was really caught in your hair.
It did. I saw it. I felt it as well.
You cheeky thing.
Sit down, please. Thank you.
So we're going to try discussing the costs of motorcycles, running a motorcycle, owning a motorcycle, and maybe, hopefully, we can find a few ways of cutting a few costs of owning motorcycles if you're kind of like on the cusp of being able to afford one or not. And yeah, unfortunately, riding a motorcycle is a hobby.
It is.
It is a hobby. It's something that we all do for enjoyment. It's not something that we need to do, even though my job is to try and get as many people on their motorcycles as I can, try and, encourage people to buy and ride motorcycles. That's kind of part and parcel of what we do. So...
But we're here to be realistic about it at the same time.
Well, yeah, we want to be honest with people. We don't want to say, oh, motorcycles are wonderful and what have you, which they are, but at the same time, we don't want to kind of, sweep under the rug all the negative things associated with it, like the added cost.
I wouldn't say the negative things. I'd say the reality behind it. Yeah, because it's negative. Such a negative word.
It's but it's a very romanticized idea, buying and owning a motorcycle, and it's a fantastic hobby. And I mean the whole reason why we're doing this is because we enjoy riding bikes so much.
It's when you watch an action movie and they get on the bike and they look really cool and off they go and you're like, I want to do that.
Well, I've said that before about Mission Impossible 2 when they had the Triumphs at the end of that movie, and I was like, man, those bikes are amazing. And I was only about 10 years old at the time when I watched that movie, but it's things like that kind of cemented my interest in riding motorcycles back at that young age. And that's again another issue, is that we're getting to the point where younger people who are interested in owning and riding motorcycles can't afford to ride a motorcycle, so they end up leaving it later on in their lives when they're earning a little bit more money, they've gone a little bit further in their careers and things like that, and they actually are in the position to own a motorcycle. But then by that point you forget. You lose your interest, by the time you get to 30, 35, 40 years old, if you haven't got a motorcycle license by then, it's very unlikely that you're going to do it because life gets in the way, There are other things that become more of a priority at that point, like buying a house, owning a house, and to some people it might not be one of those things that they have to do at that point in their lives. Priorities change as you get older. So it's one of those things. It's certainly a young man's game. You have to get into it as young as possible to make the most of it, to enjoy it.
Yeah.
But that's the point at which people have the least amount of money, and it's getting harder and harder for people to bridge that gap, for younger people to bridge that gap.
It's a cruel irony that when you're younger, you have all the energy and the ability to do things, but not the money.
Mm-hmm.
And then you get older and you have the money, but you don't have the motivation anymore.
That's right.
It's a cruel irony.
Yeah.
But hopefully we can help come up with ways of saving costs on the things you can scrimp on. There's certain things you shouldn't scrimp on.
Well, yeah. I mean, if you already own a motorcycle, well, you're already paying for it, so you can't skimp on that.
No, but things like your equipment, I mean, like you can buy a second-hand jacket or gloves, but I wouldn't suggest buying a second-hand helmet at all, ever.
No.
But like my first jacket, the pink one that makes me look like a watermelon, that one, I got that off eBay. Like, I've had that for 9 years now.
The jacket that I own was second-hand.
Came with your bike, didn't it?
The red jacket. I bought that jacket alongside the ER6.
And how long ago was that? More than 10 years.
About, probably about 10, 11 years ago now.
And it's fine, isn't it? Like, you can get those things second hand. Mine's Alpine Star, yours is something. I don't know.
Mine's Alpine Star.
Yours Alpine Star as well.
Yeah.
You know, and it's fine. All the Kevlar's in far and wear fine condition, and there's no rips or scuffs on it. So I think with things like that, that's one thing you can definitely, like, you don't have to go straight down to the shop and get a leather jacket all in black and look like a Power Ranger on your bike. You don't need that.
Yeah.
You know, I do not match my bike whatsoever, but I'm really obvious in the road. People cannot miss me on a green bike with a pink jacket on.
Yes, the same with me as well.
Yeah.
Like green bike with a red jacket.
You know, safety as well.
Contrasting colours help with safety, but there are costs that you can't avoid.
Yeah, there are.
So things like the fuel, things like the taxes, the bike itself, the insurance, you can't avoid these costs, but with the insurance, I actually have a video about how you can make your insurance slightly cheaper, at least if you live here in the UK. So I definitely recommend you guys go and check that out. It's just titled How to Make Your Car/Motorcycle Insurance Cheaper. And there's a few little really important metrics that calculate the cost of your insurance premiums, and and understanding those metrics can help with insurance costs. There was a guy that left a comment the other day saying that his insurance was over £1,100, and through watching our video on insurance, he managed to get that down to I think he said 800 and something, closer towards the 900 range. But still, I mean that's a saving of £200-300 over the course of a year, and that can mean the difference between being able to afford a motorcycle and not. So things like that can go a long way in helping you guys along. I think like the wife said, used equipment, I wouldn't necessarily look at used gloves, because gloves for me tend to wear out the quickest. But boots and jackets, you can certainly look at motorcycle jackets used.
Leather trousers or like Kevlar trousers.
Yeah, Kevlar trousers. I mean, to be honest, you don't need that though.
If people want them, then you can
you
do that secondhand.
So this depends on who you ask. So there are people that will say you don't have to buy leather jeans or leather bottoms, but you should wear riding jeans or something with some armor, something with a bit of protection. I'm going to be honest with you guys, I don't. If most of the time, if I'm going out on a ride, I just wear bog standard Tesco price jeans, nothing special. And they're not going to give you a lot of protection if you have if you get involved in a low side or something like that, where the bike slides from underneath you. But actually, to be fair, just regular old jeans are quite hard wearing. I
mean, you do have leather bottoms though, don't you?
Yeah, I do. I do. I just choose not to wear them because they're a bit more cumbersome. And I suppose if I'm going on a longer journey where I have somewhere to stop off and I can take them off, at my end destination, then fine, I'll wear them. But most of the time, we don't have that luxury.
No, and when you have worn them and it's rained, it's just the dye, because they're red as well, has gone onto your jeans, hasn't it?
Yeah, I don't know why
where
that is,
that's come
but
from.
those leather bottoms that I have, they match my red jacket. Yeah, for whatever reason, whenever it rains, they dye my jeans.
Permeates, doesn't it?
Yeah, I've never understood that.
Very
but
strange.
yeah, like the wife said, that is another reason why I tend to not wear motorcycle bottoms if I can help it. But that's a cost that you can avoid if you're not doing massively long journeys and things like that. It's not necessarily the thing to keep in mind. Okay, by law, the only things you need to have for safety on a motorcycle is a helmet.
Yes,
that's it. In the UK, a helmet is all you need. So I wouldn't recommend that you only have a helmet. But again, if you can't afford to buy padded gloves, armored jackets, armored boots, then I'm sure you've got some kind of attire around your house that you can just wear temporarily to get you riding. And then, maybe a few months down the line, when you have got a little bit of extra cash, then you can invest in that proper armored jacket. You can invest in the proper gloves and what have you.
I think as well, sticking on just on the path that we're on at the moment, talking about equipment and things, the style of helmet you choose, the price differences between having just a bog standard helmet to having a front flip, is that what it's called? Face it's a visor. Oh god, I can't even think of the word now either. But it's a front lifting visor, so the whole thing comes up. So you've got the plastic clear visor that you lift up, and then you've got the front face visor that also comes up as well. And if you can't, maybe you've got some money for your helmet, but you haven't got a lot. Maybe just having a normal bog standard helmet is just to start with, because that's what. Okay, I was pillion. I was a pillion at the time, and I'd had a bog standard helmet, and that lasted me until I had to change it, which I think is every 7 years or so, isn't it? And then when I was riding, I spent more and got, but I had the cash at that point to be able to, and the sales. Shop online, find those sales. They're brilliant, aren't they?
But a lot of the time with motorcycle equipment, you when you buy the bike is usually the time is when you start looking at equipment, so you don't necessarily have the choice in waiting for sales and things. If you're lucky, then what you can do is, if you're anticipating buying a motorcycle, then you can look out for sales and things like that there and then. But
as soon as you're thinking about it, you can be like, right, okay, so there's a sale here, let's go get my helmet, because it's going to cost me X amount less than it would do normally. But I think there's certain things that, and forgive me and correct me if I'm wrong, but there's certain things you almost feel like you're obliged to buy, which you don't need to, and then excuse me, I'm talking.
Come on, you be quiet.
And they're actually a waste of time or a waste of money, and you're never actually going to use them. And a trap.
Unfortunately, with helmets, you can't cheap out on helmets really that far either.
No.
You can get some really good helmets for safety that don't look that great. They're just plain helmets. They don't have the fancy front lifting visor. They don't have any of the fancy stuff. But they are good enough for getting people started.
I'm absolutely not suggesting skimp out and buy one from the 99p store, but what I'm suggesting is, if you can't afford one of the more fancier ones, don't stretch it. That's not what I was referring to. Because you can get some ultra cheap rubbish helmets, and you don't know what the certifications are and things like that. Basically, you might as well just put a pot on your head and call it a day. There are certifications that helmets need to have in order to make them legal. But if you buy a helmet from eBay, you're not necessarily going to know what certifications it has. And if it's been dropped or...
Well, no, I'm saying if it's brand new.
Oh, if brand new, sorry.
Never ever buy a used helmet. No. Never buy a used helmet. You always buy a brand new helmet. I would personally not buy a helmet online if I could help it. What's the matter, bud?
Don't know if you can hear that. He's just whining.
I would go to a either a garage, motorcycle dealership, or a shop that specifically sells motorcycle equipment, because you can go there. First of all, you can get the helmet fitted properly, which again is really important to make sure it fits nice and snugly and it's not really loose in your head, because at that point there's no point in having a helmet as well. So make sure it fits. And also as well, you can get recommendations from the staff there about, you know, safety and what have you, especially if you're looking at the lower end budget oriented helmets. I mean, your helmet didn't cost that much, really, did it? Frank Thomas.
No,
it was
on a sale though. £89.
Yeah, it was 80 90 pounds, something like that. £100 maybe. Again, Frank Thomas, decent brand. That there are videos of tests and things like that, trauma tests done with their helmets, and they're pretty good. It's
the same helmet that guy was wearing when someone hit him on the head with a hammer.
Yeah,
and that's why we were like, that's an amazing helmet. But we did the research and we did the reviews, and I think the dog wants you, and that's why he's moaning.
Come here then, bud.
There we go. So yeah, you know, reviews are kind of your best friend when it comes to things like that.
Yeah, reviews and making sure that the helmet has got all of the legal certification that it needs. If you're buying helmets, and if you're buying them on the cheap or as cheaply as possible. I mean, remember, guys, if you really, really skimp out on a helmet, I mean, one, it's illegal in the UK, but two, it could mean the difference between life and death if you get involved in even like a minor crash. Okay, you could die from it. So yeah, getting a decent helmet is really important. Personally, you don't need one of those helmets with the fancy front flipping visor. Just a normal solid helmet that will cost what, 50, 60, 70 pounds, something like that. Even from retail stores is good enough, and it will do the job.
I remember buying my first helmet. You were with me, weren't you? Because we went with my parents to a store, and I got it fitted, and I was trying all sorts of sizes of helmets on, and I was moving my head left and right and making sure it didn't wobble, and felt like a bobblehead, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't think that one cost more than £55 or something, and that was a HJC. Does that sound right?
HJC.
HJC.
Yeah.
And yeah, like I didn't need a front flipper. That was, I don't know, sounds like a fast food thing now, doesn't it?
Yeah.
But it's nice to have one, but is it necessary? No, of course not.
So yeah, you can buy budget helmets that do the job. So just make sure it's a good helmet. So yeah, we said about jackets and gloves and things. Yes, you do want to have that kind of equipment, but at the same time, it's not necessary. Not at least from a legal standpoint, you don't need it. So if you did want to skimp out on that, you can on a temporary basis. If you're really, really struggling to buy even just really basic motorcycle equipment, then yeah, you can probably get away with just a regular raincoat or something like that for the time being. Or something that's got a little bit of padding to it if you've got it, maybe a puffer jacket. I remember actually when I started riding my scooter, that's what I had. I had a puffer jacket.
Yeah. I
had a puffer jacket, and I had I looked like Michelin Man, and I had just some woolly gloves.
Yeah. But even things like airsoft gloves or anything like that, they've got a little bit gloves, they're usually got a bit of a harder shell on the top, haven't they?
Yeah.
And you can get those for about £8 off Amazon.
Yep.
And they'll do in the short term, won't they? They're not leather, but they just give you that bit of protection.
The point is that you'll probably have something lying around already in your house that you can use.
Yeah.
For the time being. Right, now let's talk. We mentioned a little bit about insurance and how we've got a video about how you can make it slightly cheaper, but one of the biggest things about insurance is the type of bike that you actually get. So if it's something like a sport bike, you are going to be paying more money for it in insurance. Not necessarily because you're going to be more stupid on it, but because they're more desirable for thieves. People, unfortunately, like bike thieves. They target the bikes that will make them the most money on the black market, and sport bikes usually are the bikes that they're going to try and steal. 125cc motorcycles as well are very popular candidates for thieving, simply because usually they're easy to break into, and a 125cc bike is so light, one person can lift it into the back of a van, and then away they go.
Well, you did the other day, didn't you?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. The wife's Ninja 125 is a pretty lightweight bike, and on the kickstand you can walk it forward and what have you. So yeah, really easy bikes to nick, which again is what happened to me once when I was significantly younger. So I mean, whilst we're on the topic of thievery, you might as well talk about protection, bike protection, locks and things like that.
Yeah,
anchors. If you skimp out on anchors and locks and things, then you might not have a bike at the end of it. So that's another cost that you want to think about. I did have some other notes here as well about talking points. Well, no, we actually covered all of them. So I've got here about fuel costs, the type of motorcycle, the insurance, the equipment, and the tax. Tax, to be honest, is not too bad in the UK for motorcycles.
It's sort of out of our control anyway.
Yeah, you simply can't avoid it.
But you can pay it over monthly now if you wanted to instead of yearly, which helps break down that cost and spread it out.
I think for both of my bikes, I think they're £5 each per month.
Mine's £1.34.
Yeah. Yeah, so,
a month.
but it's not that bad.
No.
Tax isn't too bad.
No, and I mean with things like that, when it's 30, 40, £50, you may wish to pay it off in one lump sum, get it over and done with, but you can just pay it off monthly if you want to, and it just rolls around, doesn't it?
Yeah, that's
or
right.
rolls over, should I say, not around.
Right, let's have a quick look at the chat here.
It is active.
Half an hour into the show. So, Lone Wolf UK, good to see you, mate. How you doing? Hey, Goblins. Always had bikes, even when I was married. I'm a single guy, so bikes are great for me. I'll just say it as it's written down here. I do apologise. What need do I have for 3/4 seats when I'm always out and about by myself? Yeah, exactly. It's one of those things that it's for your own enjoyment. It's for personal enjoyment.
And if you're not going to be carrying passengers and everything around, then a car potentially is just a waste of space.
That's right.
And money.
Again, that's another reason why it makes sense to get into it younger, because you don't have that responsibility. You don't have any luggage obligations. You know, it's one of those things that you can enjoy yourself, but unfortunately it's just simply getting harder for younger people to own motorcycles nowadays, which is a pretty big problem. But yeah, we'll get back to that. Lone Wolf UK, never buy a second-hand helmet, and second-hand gloves always smell funky. Yeah.
Fair comment.
Yeah, for the martial arts gym, my gloves are awful.
I remember I bought you those freshener things. I had great intention. They did nothing.
Yeah, just punching.
They just made
bags
it smell worse.
And it's just simply putting your hand inside a glove for any length of time. You, clammy, sweaty hands and stuff. It just gets absorbed by the glove, and then a few weeks later you've got a really, really smelly glove. So it's not worth getting gloves. And yeah, like I said earlier, they tend to wear more than anything else. I actually found with my gloves that it was always my clutch hand that would wear on the inside. I would always end up with like holes on the insides of my fingers from grabbing the clutch.
Yeah. I'm going to be sad when mine wear out, because I love my gloves. I absolutely adore my gloves.
Yeah.
So I'll be sad when they go.
Gil, I do apologise if I get your name wrong there. Hey guys, glad to be here. Hello from Charlotte, NC, US. NC, do we know what
North
NC
Carolina?
is? North Carolina, is that right?
Don't know.
I think that's right.
That's my guess.
I think that's right, North Carolina.
Locking it in.
Apologies again if that is the incorrect state. I'm thinking about getting the 2022 Super Duke 1290. I got a second job last year and I was able to save around about 80%. Wondering about insurance price now. Yeah. I mean, first of all, that's a fantastic motorcycle. I would absolutely love to ride a Super Duke. I've always said that. I think they're wicked bikes. And I mean, if something like the ZH2 wasn't around, then the Super Duke would probably be the next pick for me anyway, in terms of hyper nakeds. So yeah, fantastic bike there, and yeah, I look forward to riding one myself. Hopefully, sometime in the near future. Yeah, I actually don't know about insurance costs. The reference point that I have for the ZH2, it was expensive, but then again, it was a brand new motorcycle. It might be cheaper second hand, but yeah, if you're getting a 2022 model, then I imagine it's going to be quite expensive in the first year, and then you'll probably find a fairly decent discount in the second year. But
it's literally just been hatched, hasn't it, in 2022?
Yeah, that's right. But I mean, good luck with that. I hope that you are able to get that Super Duke. I'll be jealous if you do.
Yeah, sounds amazing.
Yeah, absolutely wicked machine. And yeah, good luck with your insurance over in the States. I'm not familiar with how insurance works in the States, so I don't know if it's more expensive or less expensive than over here. I have no idea. Feel free to let us know in the chat what you think. Just give us like a basic figure of your average insurance cost per year for your bike in the US. I'd be interested to know, because that's one thing that I would love to do one day, is go on a road trip in the United States on a bike. Mm-hmm. So getting an idea of costs from someone who lives in the United States would be a great help, I think. So yeah, thank you for that. Lomorph UK, Spine Guard make a good Under Armour for under jeans or a hoodie. A lot cooler in the summer and saves that horrible feeling of peeling, hot, sweaty, wet leather off. Yeah,
I bet.
Okay, I am gonna say that's one of the benefits of having fabric. It doesn't peel like leather does.
Feel like a snake.
Yeah.
Shaving your skin.
Yeah, that kind of peel is awful.
But yeah, I think in the winter, leather's probably better as it keeps you warmer. Would you say? I'm cold regardless, no matter what time of year, so I'm not a very good judge.
To be honest, no, not really. Fabric jackets and leather jackets do about the same in winter. I think you might get a little bit better wind deflection off a leather jacket, but that's about it, really. Unfortunately, I mean, the main benefit to leather jackets are their protection. So you've got the protective hard leather. And then, of course, you've got the Kevlar underneath, whereas fabric jackets, they tend to wear really quickly. Like, imagine if you're sliding along the concrete at 30 miles an hour or whatever, the fabric's going to wear almost immediately, whereas leather will have a bit more resistance to wear in that situation. But, yeah, I like leather jackets, personally. I don't actually own a fabric jacket anymore. All the ones I have are leather. But... yeah, there is something to say for fabric jackets, because they tend to be cheaper, and as long as you can get the Kevlar padding as well, the main points of impact, so shoulders, elbows, knees, back protection as well. If the jacket has back protection, they can be just as good, to be honest, the fabric ones.
Because you can get ready-made Kevlar hoodies, can't you, as well?
Yeah, you can. I'm not sure if I've liked the experience I've had with my one. And it's not Kevlar.
Is it not?
No, they don't use Kevlar armor in them. It's some other spongy...
Some foam.
Foam material. So, to be honest, they don't add any extra protection over... just wearing a normal hoodie, to be honest with you. But I mean, each to their own. If it is on a really warm day, I personally don't like wearing my jackets and what have you. I do like to feel a bit of that breeze going through the fabrics that I wear. So in the summer, in the depths of summer, where you're looking over 20 degrees Celsius, I don't tend to wear my jacket. I try wearing it if I can, but if I'm going out for a long period of time, then I probably won't wear it, to be honest. I mean, to my detriment, each to their own. If I end up coming off my bike, then that's the consequence I'll have to pay. So you got kind of a bit of a catch-22 there, but yeah. Lomorph UK, having a pin lock visor insert installed in your helmet stops your visor from steaming up. Before you buy a helmet, think what price you would put on your head. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Also,
I've never heard of a pin lock visor insert. I imagine it's something that goes in between the visor and the actual front of the helmet, so it leaves a gap open for hot air or what have you, your breath. Sorry, what were you going to say,
I'm going
wifey?
to take this moment to admit something. Lone Wolf UK commented on the picture of me on my bike, and it looks like my visor is steamed up. It's just dirty. That's not fog, and I'm so embarrassed. And I was like, I'm just going to admit it, but it's just, I have cleaned it, and then went out and I just got attacked by flies again, and I actually swallowed them as well. But
you do tend to have foggy visors though. You don't. You never ever have your visor open.
No, I don't.
I have my visor open all the time.
It makes my eyes stream.
You get the hang of it. It's better you being able to see
I have
properly.
a little gap now. That's like what I do.
Honestly, if I'm traveling, if I'm moving, then I can have my visor all the way down. But if I'm at a standstill or if I'm going through slow moving traffic, I have to have the visor up. And literally every single time I come to a stop, I'll lift my visor up every time.
Yeah.
Just because it's more convenient, and I like feeling the wind on my face anyway.
But I'm still getting to the groove of it.
Of course.
I find
of course.
I'm now confident putting my visor up and down on the move. I've done that in the last sort of few months, but I'm still learning. I'm still getting there. So
it's funny, all the things that you don't realise that you're scared about doing until you actually get on a bike and you start riding one.
It was like that hill yesterday. Honestly, if I wasn't going forward, I would have gone straight back down it because it was so steep.
Yeah, that's it.
So yeah, but just full disclosure there.
Yeah, thank you for letting us know about that pin lock, Lone Wolf. I'm sure that viewers will get, will make use of equipment like that for sure, especially if you are one of those people that likes to have their visor down, but you're forced to have it open all the time. And that's the thing as well, because all riders do this, where if they don't want the wind in their face, they'll put the visor all the way down, but they won't put it all the way down. They'll leave a tiny gap. The only problem is if you start traveling over 60 miles an hour, it just forces itself shut. So it's kind of pointless, really. So having something like that, I assume,
really useful.
Would help quite a lot. Lone Wolf UK, for reference, a 1998 YZF 1000R is £140 per year with a whopping £600 compulsory excess. So yeah, that's really cheap on insurance, I have to say. Like you said, that £600 excess is a lot. I'm trying to remember what the excess is for my bikes. I think it's £250.
That sounds about right.
Maybe £300 excess for my bikes. I have no idea about yours. I can't remember. But
I don't know.
For mine, I mean, I've got a lower excess, but I think, well, the total cost for both bikes at the moment, the ZH2 and the ZZR, because they're in my name, and then the wife here has got a separate policy for her Ninja 125. The costs for those two are, I think, £800, between £800 and £900 a month for both.
On insurance?
On insurance, yeah, for both. Not a month, sorry, a year.
I was going to say.
Sorry, yeah.
This isn't affordable.
It's more than our mortgage per month.
Yeah.
No, yeah, excuse me, yeah, per year, between £800 and £900 for both those bikes. The main cost of which being the ZH2, because I mean, just looking at insurance policies for the ZH2 on its own were ridiculous back then, and I mean that was a real big cause for concern for me, was trying to find reasonable insurance premiums for a bike like that. I mean, well, I've got another video about that as well. When I first picked up the ZH2, was the problems I had with insurance, and also had a rear ending as well on the very first day I picked up the bike. Literally, it was the maiden voyage of the ZH2 when I picked it up from the garage, and someone rear-ended me, but luckily they were slowing down, so they didn't hit me with full force, and I was able to keep the bike upright.
And to be fair, the garage were really, really good. I just called them and said, "This has happened. Can you come? Can you check it?" And they did, and they were fine. When we got there, they were all waiting for us, weren't they?
Yeah,
they'd all heard about what had happened.
Yeah, they checked it all out, and luckily everything was okay. The bearings were all right. The tires were okay, even though there was like paint marks on the tire. Luckily, the only thing that had damage was it had a scuff mark on the rear tire, and the number plate had been bent. But luckily, because I was turning left, they hit me on kind of like the back end of the tire, so the exhaust wasn't in the way either. So yeah, very, very lucky, very, very lucky. And yeah, you just never know what's going to happen or what's right around the corner. And sod's law, it's going to be the very first day you pick up your new bike is when something like that's going to happen.
Yes,
so
indeed.
Yeah, that's right. Lone Wolf UK, in winter I found it warmer to wear Spada's waterproof two-piece suit. Okay, Spada textile that is. Okay. Yeah, I'm assuming for the wind resistance, seeing as it's waterproof, that it would be really good at keeping that cold wind out. And that's the thing, isn't it? Is a lot of the time it's the wind chill that gets you, even if the ambient temperature is something like 5 degrees Celsius. As soon as you start riding, that wind chill is going to go
straight through you.
Take you down to maybe 0 degrees or more. So, yeah, certainly one of those things to look at. And yeah, I'd never actually considered wearing a waterproof suit before, or a waterproof jacket to keep the wind out. Never considered that. So there you go, another piece of knowledge right there. That's awesome stuff. Thank you again, Lone Wolf. Dope Style Gaming, yeah, good to see you, mate. And yeah, they say, my God, finally made it to a stream on time-ish. Missed this. As a 20-year-old in London, I can tell you that insurance is most definitely a joke. Yeah. Unfortunately, again, location is one of those things that you can't
budget for it.
You can't adjust it. You can't.
Yeah.
So I remember actually this happened with one of my cars a few years ago, where we moved from our flat, which I think I was paying £250 odd a year for insurance on my old car, and then we moved to this house. No, that wasn't it. No, it was when we moved from the rented house that we were in to our flat. Yeah, that was it. So we rented a house together. It's the first place that we lived together in, and my car insurance was really, really reasonable. But then as soon as we moved into our flat, which is our first mortgage, price through the roof. It was treble, quadruple the price. I'm like, God, all because of location. It was all because of... Luckily, after the first year, the premium went down, which was good, but
you had to
still...
swallow the cost, though, didn't you, for the first year?
Yeah, and it still wasn't the point that it was before we moved. And, I mean, well, that's another massive unknown with costs, is how much is it going to cost if you decide to move house? You know, something as trivial as that. You know, insurers...
It's something you can't preempt, or but you can't budget for it until you're there.
They'll slaughter you, and you won't find out until after you've moved house. You know, because very rarely your insurance premium is going to run out at the same time as you're moving house.
Yeah.
So you're gonna have moved house, and then in a few months' time, you're gonna have to reinsure your bikes or your car or something, and you're gonna realise, oh my God, my costs are going up even more, because you know most people they get a bigger house, so they get a bigger mortgage. And then all of a sudden you have added costs that you weren't anticipating, because insurance companies just like to scam you like that. Yeah. Ridiculous. But yeah, insurance is a con, but it's unavoidable. So yeah, Dope Style Gaming, back from work and chilling. Thank you for asking, Lone Wolf. Lone Wolf says, hey, Dope Style Gaming, hope you're well. So yeah, it's good to see you both in the chat. But yeah, I mean... I just hope that when things start to settle down a bit with the whole Ukraine thing, that costs will start coming down again. Because if they stay the way I'm very skeptical they're going to come down. Yeah. They might not even come down at all, but even if they come down a little bit, then it'll be beneficial to us riders. But that's the thing. All these added costs are driving kind of the whole motorcycle industry into the ground, because people just can't afford to ride them even though they want to. So we just don't get a choice in the matter, unfortunately, which is an absolute pain. But I hope that it sorts itself out. And yeah, I mean, if any of you watching that are struggling to pay for your motorcycle and things like that, I really do feel sorry for you, and I hope that you do find a way of keeping your bike on the road and you're able to continue enjoying it. There are loads of ways of running a bike on a budget. Unfortunately, a lot of the time it's mainly due to the bike that you actually choose to buy. So if you are anticipating increased costs in the future, costs that are outside of your control, and you're going broke because of it, then always budget accordingly with the kind of bike that you're looking to buy. Instead of buying that R1, maybe look at an older R1, or maybe look at something that's a little bit more future proof in your budgeting. I'm going to be honest, I'm not the best at budgeting, and I mean, we're in a lucky position that we're able to absorb the added costs of energy and fuel, but I know that's not the case for a lot of people. And I've said this to you before, I regret buying my car. A few years ago, I bought a really nice Audi TT, had like 2,000 miles on it, and I was so pleased with it. I've hardly used it, because as soon as I bought the car, which is in March 2021, when I bought my car.
No, year before.
2020. 2020. Yeah. Oh, yeah. That was it. Yeah, because then all the lockdowns started happening for COVID. So, we had a car that basically a brand new car that we weren't able to use. And to be honest, since then, I've been more involved in riding my bikes than driving my driving our cars. So I regretted buying a more expensive car just because I could afford it at the time. It wasn't a good idea, and now, I wish I'd bought a cheaper car, unfortunately. And these are all the things that you have to consider, isn't it, when you're looking at buying a motorcycle, just to make sure you can keep yourselves afloat after you've got it. And it's like you can look into a crystal ball and make a guess about, so I can afford this one thing now today, and then in a year's time or even 6 months' time, actually, that was another thing that happened, wasn't it? Because when COVID happened, I just bought my new car, and then within a month, I was on furlough. I was on the furlough scheme, wasn't I, from work? And then a few months after that, I got sacked from work. I got made redundant. So that was a scary time as well, because then I had to find a new job again. All these things, they play a massive part in being able to afford a motorcycle, and unfortunately, it's just one of the. If you are lucky enough and you don't need to run a car, then you're pretty much there. But for most people, we have to have a car, we have to have a bike. Well, no, I have to have a car and I have to have a bike. But most people have to have a car, and most people want a bike. Yeah. Unfortunately.
But I do think we'll have to stop you going to the demo days, otherwise we're just never going to have any room for anything else. Yeah. No, I'm looking to do some test rides in the near future on some bikes, but like the wife said, unfortunately, I'm just going to want them. But we literally cannot afford them. Yeah, and that's how we ended up with the H2. Yep. And I'm not one to say no, so I'm no help in this situation, am I? Yeah, that's right. All right, guys, we'll just have a look at the chat one last time before we sign off. Dopestar Gaming, a quote for my YZF R125 is £1,300, and that's for third party only. Oh, my word. Wow, okay. Gives you chills out, doesn't it? And that's in London. Jesus. I think, there was wasn't there another viewer a few months ago that said that they bought a Ninja 125, and again they lived in the London district. Yes. And their insurance was something ridiculous as well. Was it like £3,000 or £4,000 for a year? I don't pay that much. It's more than the cost of the bike. So that's incredible. My insurance is not that high. So but mate, I feel for you. I really do. That is horrific. Location is one of those things that you can't get away from. You have to put in the place that you live. You have to put that in. You can't. I did toy with the idea with the ZH2 of putting the insurance premium under my mum and dad's address,
but it wouldn't work. It simply wouldn't work. You know, if you get caught out for it, you got a fine and all sorts of stuff. So, because what is it count? Is it fraud that they do you for? If you put down the wrong,
something like that, yeah,
incorrect
or like
details
evasion,
or something
isn't it,
like that.
something?
I don't know, but yeah, you can't get away with it, unfortunately. So yeah, well, and that's another thing as well. When they put through the credit scoring as well, obviously it goes against your own house, the place where you live. It doesn't go against the someone else's house. So you can't even get away with it then anyway. Because they'll catch you out straight away as soon as they go through the credit check.
It's very much a dead end, that, isn't it?
Yeah, but honestly, well, that's the thing, is it's what it drives us to. It drives us to trying to find new ways of trying to save a penny here and there because it's getting too expensive. So
yeah, to spend on our electricity or food instead.
Yeah, ridiculous. Dopestar Gaming was planning on getting it in literally a few weeks when my birthday comes around, but I might have to hold off now. Oh god. So you haven't got the bike yet? Jesus. And it's all because of the insurance cost.
But happy birthday when it's there.
Yeah. Happy birthday in a few weeks' time. I hope that you are able to scrounge up the cash that you need for it, because well, actually that was an experience as well. When I did my CBT, there was a guy there. He wasn't a friend of mine, but he was an acquaintance. I knew him, and we did our CBT together. And he had a YZF R125, and we were practicing. No, it wasn't CBT. No, it wasn't CBT. Excuse me. It was I was doing the training for my full license, and yeah, he had an R125, and we were practicing emergency braking in like an enclosed space. It wasn't a big space. It was an enclosed. Well, yeah, the place where you did your CBT. That was the exact same place where I did my motorcycle training in there, and it's not a very big car park, is it? At all?
No, not at all.
And so we were practicing doing emergency braking, and he was the first one to go. This guy on this R125, and he slammed on his front brakes, and the bike went diving into the ground, and just ground down the fairing on the left hand side. And it was a brand new bike as well, brand spanking new. Oh god, I felt so sorry for the guy, because they're not cheap as well. It's R125s. They're some of the most expensive 125s you can buy. So yeah, oh god, awful. But yeah, Dopestar Gaming. Yeah, I hope you're able to manage that, especially for your birthday. So. Lone UK, haha, if fuel prices keep rising, I could see us all riding 125 Honda Groms. Those things can do 80 miles per gallon. Yeah, that's exactly what will end up happening. I mean, the wife's Ninja 125 has got a ridiculously good MPG as well, so that might be what we'll all end up doing.
That's what I'll be riding. What are you going to do?
Well, that's the thing, though. But all these manufacturers might end up being forced to drop down from, these supercharged 1 litres or whatever to little piddly things that are really good at fuel economy, and we might end up having like a fuel shortage crisis like they did in the United States during the 80s and the 90s, and that's what shifted, wasn't it, with the whole muscle car era, the gas guzzlers, because it was something ridiculous like 50 cents a gallon or less than that for a gallon of gas in the States, and then all of a sudden that they run out of fuel everywhere, and fuel prices shot up. And then these American car manufacturers started going, we need to make some cars that are cheaper to run. And that's when I think companies like Volkswagen came in, because in Europe at the time they were already developing and manufacturing cars that were better on fuel. And so that's how these European brands ended up getting a foothold in the United States, or the market in the United States was for their fuel efficiency, and that might be what will end up happening to us with bikes as well. But yeah. Dopestar Gaming, takeover of the mopeds.
Yes.
Yeah. Dopestar Gaming, quick question. Are there any new future plans for the channel? Interesting question. So, it'll be the 1 year anniversary of our channel is in a month's time. Would you believe it's only been a year that we've been doing this?
Feels like much longer, doesn't it?
Feels like we've been doing it for ages, and it would only have been a year this time next month. So we're going to do something special for the live show, because I believe it is a Wednesday, which is the day that the first ever video was released on the channel. Next month in April. It would be on a Wednesday. I think it's like 20th of April, but the live show is on the 21st or something like that. So that'll be when we'll celebrate it.
We have a few ideas.
We have a few ideas for that show. So yeah, make sure to come along to that one. We'll share a few memories and things on that show. It'll probably be a bit of a Q&A kind of show. It probably won't be anything scripted or serious, but well, within reason.
We may answer, we may not.
So so one year in April, which is absolutely insane. I've got a few ideas floating around, but I don't want to reveal what they are just yet.
A few surprises,
maybe.
I think the thing is, the channel, we're fortunate the channel is at such a baby stage, isn't it really, in terms of these other YouTubers and vloggers that you see, that we are going to be constantly evolving for a while, aren't we? So we're going to have lots of new things coming out and things to try. So
it's one of those things where I don't want to cement the direction that we're going. I want to kind of keep our options open and stay flexible with where we want to take things. And well, one idea that I did think about, because with the subscribers that we've been getting recently, people have been leaving comments about saying, "Oh, I know that area. Maybe we can go out for a ride sometime." And it's one of those things that I would like to do is organise some group rides with the viewers. If you live around the Gloucestershire, Worcestershire area, go on, bud. Maybe even the Bristol, Avon area as well. If you live around there, maybe we can organise some kind of meet up, somewhere. Especially with the spring and summer just around the corner, it makes sense to organise something like that sooner rather than later. But yeah, I'll keep you all in the loop on Instagram and on YouTube about what that comes to. It's also things like collaborations. I would like to look at some collaborations at some point in the future, but again, I'm not entirely sure what format that will take, how that's going to work yet. Again, these are all things that we're trying to figure out as we go, because we're still learning a butt ton of things about
so much
about all this, and what the best practices are, what how you can make connections, networking, things like that. This is all new to us. But it's certainly one of those things that I'm looking at doing some collaborations with some other YouTubers in the UK. But yeah, we'll see about that. But yeah, those are the plans that we've got at the moment, and I do have other things as well that I'm thinking about. Like I'm planning to do a if I can get the comms correct with some of the local dealerships around our area, do some more test rides on bikes that I've never ridden before. I mean, the Hayabusa obviously is top on the list because I own a ZZR, so it makes sense to test ride a Hayabusa and kind of finally be able to answer that question. Is a Hayabusa or a ZZR better? I mean, of course, that's going to be subjective, but that's something that I would like to explore for myself. And communicate that conclusion to you guys. But also, I mean, like the viewer earlier with the 1290 Super Duke, I would like to ride a Super Duke as well to compare that to the ZH2, because again, they're both kind of up there with kind of like the most top spec mad nakeds you can get on the market at the moment. So yeah, I have plans around that as well. Maybe even depending on budgets and things, maybe look at a track bike. I've toyed with the idea of getting a track bike because it's one of those things that I would like to get into, is track riding. But at the same time, we don't really have too many local tracks to where we live. So again, that's going to need
a logistics
yeah,
issue
it's,
as well
it's
as
going to need a bit more research into that as well. But yeah, it's something that I'm looking at as well. So yeah, there's all sorts of stuff that I've got in my head, and obviously as well, you know, I've got ideas for the wifey to do her own vlogs and things. Hopefully she can do a few more you know, some more contents around more female oriented content. Hopefully you can do that. But yeah, that's basically what we've got going on at the moment. And yeah, we're getting ourselves more organized as well. So we're filming videos in advance of release. We're taking Instagram pictures well in advance of when they're going to be released as well. So hopefully we've got a more planned release schedule.
Become more structured.
Yeah, far more structured, far more professional. And yeah, again, this is all stuff that we're working out as we go. So yeah, it's this project is a massive work in progress, and it always will be. I think. I mean, hopefully it will get to a point where it'll be as professional as we can make it. You know, hire photographers, hire camera person, things like that. You know, hire directors or what have you. I don't know. It's again, it depends on how far this channel can go. But at the moment, the sky's the limit, as far as I'm concerned, with what we can do, with the possibilities. But the dog is just underneath our desk here, just whining. Maybe you guys can hear that. It's Lone Wolf UK meetups and dual vlogs, perhaps. Yeah, absolutely. I dabble with photography and photo editing and photo manipulations and some video editing. If that can be any use to you, do. Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, again, it's massive learning curve for all of us getting into this whole moto vlogging thing, and it's working with media has always been something I've been interested in doing, and this has been so far the only time I've been able to kind of explore that interest. So yeah, like I said, just learning as we go. Dope Style Gaming, keep at it. You'll both get there. Thank you very much. Massive love heart. Yeah, thank you ever so much for your kind words, guys. Really appreciate it. And I do hope that one day, we can organise some meetups with you guys and go out for rides together. That would be ideal. Guys and gals, yeah, of course, absolutely. But thank you for the love and for your engagement with the content. We can't thank you enough, guys. It's amazing, and to think that it's not even been a year yet. It'll be a year in April. You know, it's because again, I didn't know how this was going to go. I had no idea. It was simply one of those things that I thought, right, I love motorcycles and I really want to get involved in some kind of media project. Well, there's YouTube, there's Instagram, there's all these other social media platforms. Well, why don't we just give it a go? And this is where it's led us so far. And so far it's been far more successful than I could ever have imagined. But again, unless you try these things, you simply don't know. And that's still the kind of process that we're going through right now, you know. At the moment, we're earning enough money from the YouTube to pay for the fuel that we use for the videos, and to think that, you know, we only have 1,500 subscribers to be able to gather a little bit of cash here and there just to help the channel along and help us do our thing. It goes a long way. It really does, and it keeps the whole thing going. So, but that'll do for today's show. Guys and gals,
can you see him?
No, he's too low down. No, they can't see. Oh, you can. Yeah, you can see his little head just there. There you go. Oh, that's the wrong way. There you go. There he is. He is right here. Look.
I think I found the source of the loud pug. I think he's hungry.
Oh dear. Yeah, I'm getting hungry as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, thank you ever so much for watching, guys and gals. Hope you're all doing well. And yeah, remember again, release tomorrow morning. Oh, sorry, excuse me, tomorrow afternoon, 12 o'clock is our release time. So yeah, if you're there watching that video, I'll see you tomorrow. If not, then yeah, we'll catch you in next week's live show. Yeah, have a good one, guys and gals. Hope you have a good weekend.
Bye.
Bye.
You're very noisy.
Very noisy.
Very noisy.